welcome back to the Fursuiting Across Asia series. I am here again as Burger. This time we are going to another land. The Thailand, that is the land of Thais. That is where we're going today. So, how do we get there? First, what I do is I took all of my life possessions. I should mention there's kind of a longer story to this, but basically I had some trouble with my baggage, with my carry-ons and my luggage and all of that, actually getting onto the plane, because I had too much. I basically was heading all the way back home to the United States after this big trip, so obviously I had to take everything with me and stuff it all into as little amount of bags that I could. Actually, I had to get a brand new luggage thing. I'll show you, hold on. This thing right here was very, very handy. I appreciate it very much. I have been using it ever since I got it in mainland China. But to sum it all up, I had to send some stuff home and get on a different flight because I ended up missing the flight trying to arrange how to send stuff back home. And even then, I still had to pay a little bit of a fee because it was still a little bit over the limit for the luggage that went into the cabin of the plane. But anyway, that's a story for another time. There probably might be an episode where I just talk about random little things that happened that I didn't think to include within these episodes because they're long enough already. So, anyway, off to Thailand. I arrive at the airport. I do all the normal stuff, claim my baggage, get a new tourist SIM card for the 4 days I'm going to be spending there, head over to the area where all the taxis were, grab myself a taxi, and we head on over to the hostel. Well, we head towards this direction along the highway. He was still trying to figure out where the actual destination of the place was. He even handed me his phone. It was like, here, you type it in, and I'll drive, okay? You type it in. He was like still driving like this, like, here, type it in, here. And I was just like, dude, no, please, eyes on the road, please, don't hand me your phone. As he had handed me his phone, it was in the Thai keyboard input thing, and I do not know Thai writing. I do not really speak the Thai language, so I couldn't help him there. We basically had to speak it into the Google Assistant, just hey Google, take me here, blah blah blah, please, thank you. But we eventually find the destination. It is this nice little cafe, restaurant, and hostel called the Jade's House. I don't know if one of the owners is called Jade. I don't exactly remember, but it is a nice place. They also did not have an elevator, so one thing I remember is the poor ladies working there trying to carry 40 kilograms worth of luggage up 2 sets of stairs. Obviously I helped, but they still had to pick up some stuff. And once I was in my room, I decided to grab some lunch, have some authentic pad thai. I think at some point I had pad thai in China or the US before coming to Thailand. I think I did. If not, this may have been the first time I had ever tried it, and spectacular. It's the staple food of Thailand. It's just fried noodles with some veggies or some meats. You can add some different toppings onto it, some seasonings and all that. But, it's good food and it's cheap. Also, here is a tour of the interior of the Jade's house. Enjoy.
Let's start with the actual rooms on the floor that I'm staying on. This would be, I guess, my bathroom. Yeah, shared bathroom with whoever else is on this floor. No shampoo there's hand soap, but that's about it. So I'll have to get some temporary stuff. Whole area is a shower and bathroom. There's no closed off curtain for stuff. You just clean yourself off. This controls the water levels, I guess. There's the toilet. It does come with toilet paper, thankfully. They don't want you to flush down the toilet paper. They want you to take your shoes off. You can use these sandals. Upstairs is like a laundry area. There's another bathroom. And let's go into where I'm staying. So room T with this guy as our charm. And this is cozy. This is like an actual dormitory. Yeah. Well, no kidding, because they call it dormitory. So this is a bunk bed, TV, 2 chairs, trash can. You got the light switch and the main breaker is right here. You can switch that on or off, just in case you need some sort of kill switch. AC, uptown. There's a little crevice right here. There's some spider webs along there. I don't want to mess with that. As you can see, I'm a bit in of a situation where I kind of just want to get rid of some stuff, lose some weight from my luggage. There's a clock up here that doesn't work. There's a curtain that kind of blocks your outside view, even though if you want to look inside, all you're going to see is bed. Let's get on out of here. Let's lock the door. Good, okay. 4th floor. Yes, this is the 3rd floor. We're heading up these steep stairs all the way up to the roof access of sorts. So this is where the roof access is and where you would want to do your laundry. There's a washing machine right there. Some clothes and blankets and all that are hung already, probably from the staff. You can also just hang out here. I might take some photos in fursuit. Just out here. As you can see, it's a cloudy day. There's the sun hiding behind the clouds. Could have went to the Chillax Resort, but no, I decided to stay here at the Jade House. Not much of a view outside, because everything is kind of fenced in. Let's head downstairs to the 2nd floor. Here's where other people would be staying if they were. I guess there's a router up there, hanging on the ceiling, being all mysterious. Down to the 2nd floor. Someone's hanging a towel here. Plenty of shoes right here. The big ones are mine. You can tell, because I got big American feet. Here's a door towards the A area. Let's see, the door towards all of these. I guess this is just the public restroom for like the actual restaurant. This is like a restaurant and hostel. That's pretty cool. Trash can right there. Is this just actual? Yeah, you can just leave your shoes. And these too. Get my shoes on. And show you the actual inside of the restaurant. So you enter this sort of locker room. This is just for washing hands. And there it is. My little personal Thai cafe and restaurant. Hello. Yeah, you can get drinks, you can get some food. I got some pad Thai earlier, a couple hours earlier. You can read a book. You can watch YouTube. Oh, that's Strictly Dumpling, I think. Here's the outside. It's a very cozy place.
So now it is time to explore Bangkok. Here's the thing about Southeast Asian countries that are basically built upon tourism. There are lots of little places that will offer you tourist packages. They will offer you day trips, night trips. Some of these places, even inside of the hotel that you sign up for, once you book a room there and arrive there, they'll even say, hey, now that you're staying here, do you want to go here? Do you want to go to this destination as well? We offer you tickets. And some of them are just within walking distance of these hotels and hostels and such. But my first little big trip would not be until tomorrow morning at like 6 a.m. So I had some time on my own to just explore the little area of Bangkok that was, you know, within walking distance, a reasonable walking distance, I should say. did do some research before heading to Thailand. That's the important thing you do if you're traveling to a country. Do some research, figure out what's there, figure out what some hotspots are, not just the touristy areas. Frankly, I could have done a little bit more research, but once you're in the moment and you're feeling a little giddy, sometimes you're just a little bit, you're like, oh whatever, I'll try it, why not? But one of these hotspot destinations that you can just go to is called Khao San Road. It's like the liveliest, partiest strip of road that you can stumble upon in Bangkok, Thailand. It's very touristy. There's lots of music playing for the Western audiences, obviously. It's either pop music or party music or some combination of both. You have restaurants, you have bars, you have stalls like you would see in the night market, selling you clothes and food and snacks and drinks. And there was another vendor that was just like, hey, you ever eaten a scorpion? You wanna try? And honestly, for a cooked arachnid on a skewer and a little stick, I feel like I paid too much. Like, here's the thing, the Thai baht, their currency is called the baht, by the way. The Thai baht and the Taiwan dollar, they're roughly the same buying power. So now that I'm living here in Taiwan, I basically know the actual price of stuff and how that would be equivalent to Thailand. Without going into too much detail, 80 baht for one scorpion? It's a little too much, honestly. I mean, that's still less than $3 per scorpion. I don't think I would pay more than $1 or $1.50 for a scorpion. That's just me. That's just me. Because this thing was crunchy, salty, and not much else. You know, it's an acquired taste, I'm sure, for some people. But it's mostly a tourist thing, so who cares? But, on that note, I didn't just do those two things. I also went to a couple of places to drink. One of which was playing house music. The other of which was playing covers, you know, guy with an acoustic guitar, classic thing for a bar.
Just another rainy Sunday afternoon. I'm wasting my time, nothing to do. I'm hanging around and waiting for you to move back. Nothing ever happens. Turning around, I know that I can see. I'm just another lemon tree.
And while it is very fun to do as a tourist, it's not the most authentic Thai thing you could do. I know. But like, I'm the tourist. Of course I'm gonna go there. You know, they call it a tourist spot for a reason. It's because tourists like to go there because it's destined for the tourists. It's made for the tourists. So here's some more footage of the nightlife. After this, you will be seeing day 2. So, here you go. So day 2 starts off with waking up early at 6 a.m., as I have said. And we are taking a van all the way over to this place way east, almost bordering along Thailand and Myanmar. It's a place called Kanchanaburi. Here's some footage of that. Our first kind of stop is like a halfway point to get like gas and some snacks and breakfast and all that. And I stopped, I remember this, at a little place called Cafe
Amazon.
I see this little Brazil cafe thing and I'm like, oh, that's cute. And then I look it up later, it's actually a chain of coffee shops, little cafes, throughout all of Thailand. So that's useful to know. But our first actual stop into Kanchanaburi is a museum and memorial for the prisoners of war that died building a bridge nearby. I will let the tour guide, love this woman by the way, she is incredible, I will let her explain a little bit more about what I'm doing here.
Good morning, everyone. Wake up already. So, first thing, let me introduce myself. My name is Pon. You can call me Oh. First, please check your sticker. Anyone have sticker with you? Very good. Please keep this sticker until you finish tour because you have to show to stop in the restaurant for free lunch. You have to show to national park waterfall for free entrance. So please keep it with you. Single one. Anyone single? No,
Just me?
I think you booking for 1 day elephant trekking, sir.
Yes.
Bamboo rafting, elephant riding, my waterfall and train on the Death by Red. That's your program. But everyone, I will tell them first. Train ticket we have to buy later in train station. Not here, not now. Later in train station. Okay? J, E, A, T, and H. Yes. It's from 6 countries. Run from 6 countries. J from Japan, E from England, A from Australia and America, T from Thailand, and last one H. That's from Holland. Okay. Just the World War II. Because everyone, this area, this was a British camp. This is a British camp. 6,000 men worked in this area in the wartime. And inside this museum here, we can see like army uniform, photographic, many maps and model inside. That's information about World War II. So from this photo, you can see two bridges. Both bridges is the wooden, that one is the black iron bridge. Both bridges built in same time in November 1942. November 1942. But the wooden one in the museum is finished and ready to use first in February 1943. A few months later, in April 1943, the black iron one is finished and ready to use as well. Why Japanese army they have to make two bridges across one river? That's because of they know Allies would like to bomb and cut the river. If one broken, they can use another one instead. But in 1945, there was bombed several times. Both bridges broken. Wooden one in the museum destroyed. The black iron one middle section broken. Then Japanese army surrender. British took over runway for 2 years. They bury people who died in jungle cemetery to the base camp. Also, they take prisoners of war back to Singapore. And now we have only one bridge that still used is the black iron one. Now people call the bridge over the river Kwai. Okay? We will spend time for you here in the museum half an hour. 30 minutes for photo. After 30 minutes until 10:45, we will take you to railway station. And we will catch a train along the Death Byway, same track from the World War II. 50 baht donation. Everyone, you can get your ticket at the entrance here by yourself or 10 baht donation. But if you're not interested to see museum, you like to shopping, you like to have toilet, coffee, that you can.
So I kind of decided not to go inside the museum because I needed to go to the bathroom. And I felt like there probably wasn't going to be a bathroom inside of the museum. So I go to the bathroom first. Turns out you have to pay to use the bathroom, but it's only like 2 or 3 baht, like, a dime in terms of US money. I figured it was like, okay, y'all tourists, you keep coming in here, wrecking shit. I'm not getting paid enough to do this, so pay up. Once I'm done with my business, I go to see the actual bridge. Take some photos. Tasteful ones, by the way. There were some people who decided, hey, let's take a little Instagram selfie at the Death Bridge. Because that's modern society now. Now, I shouldn't say that. There were vain people. People with vanity that fueled their egos. That existed before, It's just, here's a modern example of it. Also a sign of modern society, but still kind of old society as well. Here's a kid playing very badly on a guitar and getting some money from tourists who feel bad for the kid. Aww. I decided not to give that kid money, though. I just didn't feel right, Kids don't just go out and beg for money, I feel like. It's something that their parents probably tell them to do. Their parents probably figured out, oh, tourists are going to come through here. They think it's cute when kids play instruments. I know how to scrape by a couple of more bots. So anyway, off to our train. We buy the tickets onto the train itself.
Come on!
cái vàng vàng mình phải ăn kìa.
Everyone eat it sao? Yeah, กินน้ำเหนียว Normal card is ready sale. You can walk inside.
Here's some views from the train. Very lovely, I might say. Kind of reminds me of Taiwan as well, with the mountains and the jungly forests and such.
I recommend you look on the right side first. You can see the section of the bridge
And there's the bridge, the remaining parts that are still in use after World War II.
This is original river for the movie. Remember why from Myanmar on the
And then once our train gets to our destination, we are packed right into a van. Just get in, losers. We're getting lunch.
sweet and sour sauce with chicken, red curry with chicken, served finely vegetable with soya sauce, omelette and onions we have. Pretty. Everyone eating more rice. Anytime, please more stuff. We have more rice for you. Just only drink is extra. Water, Coca-Cola, you can buy by yourself here. Okay? Okay? Enjoy your meal. Thank you. 30 นาทีโอเคป่ะ okay, I think we are completely and we will drive 5 minutes to 20.
I mentioned before I should have done a little bit more research heading into Thailand. Here's one of those cases. Part of my package included the bridge. It included a little rafting along the river. It also included, I hate to say this, riding on an elephant. If you did not know, elephants are not too keen on being like having people ride on their backs. At least the way that people in Southeast Asia trained them to do so. You see, you can read more about this after you watch this video, but basically, it's not very ethical the way they treat animals, especially elephants, tigers, for tourism's sake in parts like Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, China, Heck, even more developed countries like Japan and Korea, like some of those places where it's like an exotic animal cafe, those are animals that are exotic for a reason. You probably should not be nearby them drinking a little coffee. Kind of makes me feel a little uneasy the way I just showed off a meerkat cafe that was in Seoul, South Korea. I mean, the animals didn't look like they were miserable, but do you know the lifestyle or normal habits of a meerkat or raccoon? I don't know. Let's just assume that that one's fine, but I will tell you for sure that I'm just not going to show you any footage of me on the back of an elephant at all during this vlog series. I just feel like that's wrong. I still have the footage. I'm going to delete it afterwards. After I'm done with this video. I know better now. I'm just getting this out of the way. Anyway, here's a cute little baby monkey. They rescued a little baby monkey from the forest and now they're taking care of it. Isn't that so sweet? Don't they treat animals so well here? But also, I really don't recommend riding on the back of an elephant, not just from an ethical case, but like, just wasn't a very comfortable ride. I'll just say that. You know, I'll keep it to that. So, here's the river raft right over here. It's just a nice calming ride along the river on a raft. Weirdly enough, I was the only tourist wearing a life jacket. Just everyone else was just like, I can swim. This is fine. And they didn't force anyone to put on a life jacket. It's just there if you wanted to put it on. These more third world countries just operate on different logic and laws somehow. I'm not going to say bad or good, just different. And then it was off on another little trip. There's a little park surrounding this waterfall. You could go and look around before getting your feet wet or your everything else wet. This was probably the best part of this little package of this day trip, just because it felt the most, you know, Thailand. Like, sure, I got to learn some history from the Death Bridge, and then I got to see some like exotic animals, but like going to a nice beautiful park with lots of rivers, foliage, and finally a amazing looking waterfall. That to me feels like the most Thailand that there is. was also kind of a train thing going on here in this section as well. Seemed kind of cool. There was also, I don't know if he was homeless or just kind of hung around as a free spirit, collecting money and playing the flute. I gave money to that guy, mostly so he wouldn't give me a dirty look as I was filming him. You know, made him feel a little bit better. Also, he was an adult and not forcing a child to do his job. I feel like I should mention that. So we finish off the tour with a little, well, graveyard. Just a graveyard of all the POWs, including the Western Europeans and Americans and British that happen to be there. I didn't know how much footage to take of this. I was just like, okay, here's a sweeping shot. Cool. Here's some graves. Here's some dead people. Like, I'm glad that this memorial exists, but I didn't spend too much time here. On the way back, there was a funky little interior heading back to Bangkok. And for dinner, this time, I decided, you know what? Time to try McDonald's. It was my goal at some point during this trip to try a American/international fast food chain at every single country here, just to see how different it was. Thankfully, I did get to see a very different thing. The Samurai Pork Burger. After that, go back to Khao San Road. This time, I get a little bit more frisky since I didn't have anything important to do during the morning. Just a big party day after a day trip. I went to a comedy club this night as well. You know, it was pretty good. I think it leaned a little bit too much on the edgy kind of comedy stuff, like the dark comedy, the stuff that's offensive, but it was still, you know, it was all for fun. It was fine, you know. I enjoyed myself for the most part. But after that, I had been drinking a little bit before I got into the comedy club, I had been drinking inside the comedy club, and as I was heading out, I was drinking a lot more. I ran into a couple of European bros, all hanging out, getting wasted like I was, and we all danced together. Some of us had our shirts off. Hot. But then it's like 2 a.m. I need to stumble on back and get some reasonable sleep. Then I kind of sit down because I was tired of walking and stumbling around and looking like I was, obviously drunk. I hang out with these other foreign tourists who are staying up, playing songs on the guitar until like 4 a.m. or so. Then I finally go back to my hostel, and I wake up with the nastiest hangover ever that I've gotten in Thailand.